Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
This is Bloomberg Businessweek with Carol Massar and Tim Stenovec on Bloomberg Radio.
Well, if you go up to the 22nd floor of Trump Tower, you'll find a company called Dominari Holdings. It's the operator of a tiny investment bank that less than 3 years ago pivoted from developing cancer therapies and went into finance. Since then, it's lost about $70 million. That's
a pivot.
Yeah, that is a pivot.
Anyway.
Guess who's involved in this?
Read on, please.
Okay, well, one of its senior executives was named in a now settled complaint alleging boiler room style business practices at an earlier employer. It's now been stockpiling Bitcoin. For years, its shifting priorities and tribulations remain largely out of the spotlight. That changed, though, when it gained two recognizable backers, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump. Annie Massa is Bloomberg News wealth reporter. She writes about Dominari Holdings, and she joins us here in our Bloomberg Interactive Brokers studio. You followed the money in this case.
That's right. So a bunch of things that a bunch of announcements have come out over the past couple of months involving the Trump brothers, and it can be hard to keep up with them almost. So Trump's two eldest sons joined the advisory board of this small company called Dominari, and it wasn't a company that I'd heard of before. So we basically just started looking into its financials, and you don't have to look far to see its headquarters, which is right in Trump Tower, and its business model, which is, as you said, a little bit unusual. It's done a hard pivot from biotech and developing anti-cancer therapies to investment banking and underwriting IPOs. And so we dug a little bit further.
How did the two Trump sons, or two of the Trump sons, Eric and Don Jr., get involved?
They joined in February the advisory board, so they've become advisors to the company. But there are
and it was already located in Trump Tower. Like, has it always been in Trump Tower?
It was already in Trump Tower.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
But it does have other Trump organization connections beyond that as well. In December, after President Trump was reelected, of course, Ron Lieberman, who's also an executive at the Trump Organization, joined the actual board of directors of this company. So there's that connection. There are also other executives from the Trump Organization, including the chief legal officer, who own large stakes worth getting up into the millions of dollars combined in this company. So there are all these ties back to the Trump Organization. Stepping back, what Dominari does, though, is it underwrites IPOs that can be seen as kind of, they're penny stock IPOs, basically. And the company loses money. And that's what kind of I found compelling about it and compelling about the story. What do the Trumps see in this company? What do you think? They get involved?
Okay, so they've been involved only for a few months. They're compensated very well, according to your reporting. Talk a little bit about that and maybe answer the question that you found. What do they see in this company?
Right. Well, what Eric Trump has said is that Dominari, I did interview the CEO of the finance arm of this company in February, and he said the Trumps are friends and that he was a member of their golf club in Jupiter, Florida. The Trumps have said, the Trump Organization didn't respond to our request for comment, but in other news outlets, Eric Trump has said that the Dominari Dominari has brought them great deals in the past, and that they've been involved in great things together. So they speak highly of each other. But it is a phenomenon when you look at what happens with the Trump with the Trumps joining as advisors to some of these companies like Dominari. There's a pattern, which is that the shares tend to spike because an announcement hits that they're involved, and then the shares tend to spike. And that's exactly what played out with Dominari. Shares of the company, because it trades for kind of low dollar value, spiked more than 80% that day when the Trumps joined. So that in turn makes their stake worth more.
I mean, the stock is up almost 500% year to date, right? I'm reading that correctly. You're right. It's like a $5.63.
Right, but you're talking about a stock, right? You're talking about a very low price stock.
Correct. But it's still like crazy. And if somebody had put money in early on, potentially could have earned a lot of money. I guess what's interesting, going back to the IPOs, as you say, the IPOs that it's been involved in since shifting to banking. You guys note in your reporting about 1/3 have plunged, more than 75%, according to a Bloomberg analysis. Some lost almost all of their value in less than a year of hitting public markets. And many are based in Hong Kong and China and trade as penny stocks. I mean, to be fair, like those of us who've been doing this a long time, like when we see a name like that or where it trades, we tend to be somewhat dismissive because it usually doesn't pan out to be much. And I think that's safe to say, right? So it's just interesting that tends to be their business practice.
Yeah, you could look up the IPOs that the company that Dominari has underwritten recently, and some of them you'll see the classic pop and then fall off. And we found several where they lost almost all of their value after the IPO. So, I mean, it does raise questions about the quality of some of those IPOs that it's underwriting.
I mean, what did you want to know, Annie, and you guys reporting this out? What answers did you feel like you got some information, and what things kind of still are questionable, or that you still like, God, I still would like greater answers or more, more information about some things?
Well, there's a lot there. So you have this relationship between the Trumps and the Trump organization and this company that's done this big pivot. The other reason that it's become relevant recently is it is involved in one of the crypto transactions that Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. have done. So there are a lot to keep track of. We won't go into all of their various crypto ventures, but one that has maybe flown under the radar a little bit in comparison to something like World Liberty Financial,
right?
Which is a separate company that they promote, has nothing to do with Dominari. Dominari created this American data centers unit that then became a Bitcoin mining company very shortly thereafter. The Trumps are involved in that as well, or were named in that kind of release as well. So it's spinning off new businesses, and that's supposed to IPO. So that creates another opportunity for potential profit and an increasingly perhaps complex web of financial ties.
Just 30 seconds. The Trump family has pushed back on questions about conflicts around this, given their proximity to the president. Did you get any commentary from them about this?
That's right. Their opinion and what they've said on the record is there aren't conflicts here. And what Donald Trump Jr. has been very vocal about is that he says, I've been a businessman my entire life. It doesn't matter. But I'm providing for my children. I've been a businessman my entire life. And that's his perspective on it.
Just fascinating, just interesting, right?
They're involved in everything, it seems like now.
And to be fair, things that wouldn't probably be on our radar, but they are the sons of the president, and so just kind of tracking all of this stuff. Great detail in this story. Highly recommend you check it out. Annie Massa, thank you as always. Wealth reporter here at Bloomberg News, right here in our Interactive Brokers studio.